everybody. Today I'm going to talk about motions and spiriting because we didn't touch on it all that much during our tryout week. So I wanted to give you guys the information so that you can practice over the summer so we're ready when camp comes and those summer practices come, and then when season comes we'll be awesome and ready to go. So the first thing I want to talk about is motions, and in regards to motions you want to make them sharp and you want to make them strong. And when you're doing this, I'll show an example here. For that strength and that sharpness, you want to think about not only using those muscles to sharply shoot your arms down, but you also want to use the muscle strength and those arms nice and tight, those muscles nice and tight to stop the motion where it should land, okay? So if you were to take your arms up to your side, and you can try it with me if you're at home trying this right now, you can put your arms up and then with all the strength in your arms, slap them down. Well, if you don't use those arms to stop, you're going to slap your sides, right? So for a cheer motion, if we're going to hit a low V from here, and we have our arms out to the side, and then all of a sudden we hit, notice how you use that arm strength to stop the motion right in the place that it should be. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about sharpness and strength. So those are two key components of your motions. Another thing I'm going to talk about is the cinnamon rolls, which is whether or not your big cinnamon roll, which is your hand, this big cinnamon roll with your thumb facing forward is out, or if the little cinnamon roll, which is your pinky facing forward, is out. Okay, so those are two motions, and also whenever you make a fist for your arm motion, you want to make sure we're not giving the thumbs up. You want to take those thumbs and tuck them around behind so that they're reaching for those ring fingers. So just so you know, those are two techniques as far as hand positioning goes that we'll kind of be looking for to make those correct motions. With that being said, I think we'll get started with showing different motions, and I'll discuss them. So for the first motion, we'll do high V, which is that big cinnamon roll forward. Make sure you're not squeezing your shoulders up to your ears. You want to drop those shoulders down. Arms should be out wide. At any time when you're doing a motion, you should see your arms in the periphery of your vision. So those arms are always just slightly forward. So you've got that high V, and then for low V, you're going to hit down low. And just like I said, that periphery, your arms are always just slightly forward. So that low V isn't just right down by your side, it's slightly forward. Same with the T motion. You're going to be at shoulder level. Don't squeeze those shoulders up, drop the shoulders down. Okay, so that they're sitting nice and level. That T, again, it's those big cinnamon rolls for the high V's and T's, and the low V. And that motion's going to sit forward. So those are high V, T, and low V. In addition to those motions, we've got the little cinnamon roll motions. We've got touchdown, which is straight up now. For this one, you're going to squeeze your shoulders up to your ears and pull them in tight to your ears. So arms are going to be right up tight next to your side of your head, and those little cinnamon rolls facing forward. For low V, you're going to just drop, or low touchdown. You're just going to drop those touchdown arms down, and you're going to actually have big cinnamon rolls right in front of your hips. So that just drops down right to your side, right in front of your hips and your thighs. For the next one, we have daggers, which is taking that low V and you just bring those elbows and pull those elbows up, and again you have those little cinnamon rolls showing now this time. So that's daggers. The next one I want to show you is similar to daggers, but it's a cross. Typically, I cross my left over my right, so maybe you guys want to get into the habit of doing that just so that we're all uniform during season. So taking your daggers, you're just going to cross them over your heart, making sure those little cinnamon rolls are showing. We don't want the hands, just the cinnamon rolls. So the little cinnamon rolls showing on this motion for cross. And then in addition to that, we have right and left punch, and they're similar to what you would think. So your right hand, punch up, it's just like that touchdown motion, except for it's one arm, and so you pull that shoulder up to your ear, and you have it right up by your head. And that's right punch. To do a left punch, same thing, you just pull that arm up to your head, just like so, and that little cinnamon roll is always showing for the punches. Notice one thing I want to mention to you too right now is that my hand on my hip. At any time when you do a motion with your hand on your hip, you got to make sure you're in a nice fist and then it sits right on that hip. Nice, sturdy, strong wrist as well. the key here is we want to avoid our hands flopping back. So it's always in a fist, and we also don't want that wrist just resting there. So this little hand, even though you don't think about it, this is a motion. So having that strong forearm and fist right on the hip, that's one thing that will make that lower part of the motion nice and strong. So you have to think about this lower arm as well. All right, and those are our punches. In addition to those, we've got candlesticks. This is the only cheer motion that I can think of where you will actually put fingers forward. For candlesticks, you go shoulder level, right out to the front, making sure still those fingers are tucking in behind, trying to reach to those ring fingers. And the big cinnamon rolls will be facing up to the ceiling, little cinnamon rolls will be facing the ground, and fingers or knuckles are forward for the candlesticks. So it's just like you're holding candlesticks and you're marching through a hallway. All right. So we've got those motions. Let's see here. Some that combine now are the L motion. So if you have a left L, your left arm will be up. It's going to have that little cinnamon roll, just like a punch, and then you're going to have a T with the right hand. So this would be your left L, and that T, remember, has that big cinnamon roll. So you have left L, and then if you wanted to switch it to right L, you're going to have that little cinnamon roll on the right hand up, squeezing up like you have a punch motion, and you're going to have your T motion with that big cinnamon roll out to the side on the left side there. So we've got right L. For the K motions, this is another one that combines. For a left K, you have that big cinnamon roll up to the left side, on the left side of your body. And so you've got a half high V motion going, and then this bottom arm is just going to plop across your chest, and that little cinnamon roll of the bottom hand will be facing forward. So this is a K motion to the left. Now to switch that, thinking again, we'll take that big cinnamon roll, twist that up to the side, so this is the right K, right? And then you take that left hand, you're going to have that little cinnamon roll showing, and you plop it over your chest just like so, and that's your K motion. Always making sure that those shoulders aren't twisting. Keep those shoulders facing forward for the K motion on the right side. So those are your mixed motions. In addition to that, like I was saying there, you have half motions, so you could have a half high V, you could have a half T, or you could have a half low V. So just know that some of these motions do come in halves. You could hit a half high V. On the other side, half T, half low V. So when we say half, it just means that one, not both arms are up in the air. With that being said, there is also just a couple more motions that we don't tend to think about. One of them is the clasp. You hollow out your hands and you clasp together. So this is a motion. We keep those arms, elbows nice and tight to our side, and clasp. When you open your hands up, do you want to go way out here? Woo! It might be a little out of control. So make sure you keep them just right in line with your elbows, not too far out, not too far in. Cup those hands and clasp. So that's a clasp. Same thing now, but you squeeze your hands together, keeping those thumbs tucked into the side. Now you've got a blade, and this is called a clap. So that's a clap motion. So those claps and clasps are actually motions. So we have to make those nice and strong and tight. And that's something that we tend to forget a lot as cheerleaders. So that's a good reminder for you guys to work on those. One last set of motions that I want to talk to you about today is the lunges. Now, when you lunge back, if you were going to do a back lunge or front lunge, you're going to lunge, just touch your toe back. So what you're doing is you're just taking that knee, placing it right over the ankle, making sure we're not lunging too far because then we hurt our knee joint. So keeping that knee just right over the ankle and taking this toe, and we're just going to touch that toe back. And that is a front lunge or back lunge, however you would want to look at it. If you want to do a side lunge, then what you guys will be looking for is you're going to take one knee, place it out to the side, you're going to take that knee right over the ankle, and then you're going to take this other foot, keep that foot facing forward. If you guys do yoga, this is Warrior Two pose is what they call it. Taking the foot back, and then you're in your lunge, and this is actually a side lunge. So just so you guys know, these motions with your legs can also be a part of cheerleading too, but these are the two main ones that you'll see and that you'll have to be aware of. All right, and then to do your right side lunge, remember, just like the left, we just take that toe, place it out to the side, put the knee right over the ankle, not too far back. So right over the ankle, lunge with that foot with the toes that are facing our audience. If you guys were my audience, lunging out to the side, always making sure that those muscles in your legs are nice and strong and tight, not bending that knee. You want to lock it, not so much lock it up, but squeeze that leg nice and tight, and you'll be in your side lunge position. So just to recap, motions just really fast here. Just a reminder that we want to keep them nice and sharp and strong. Those are the keys. And also to think about body awareness. We always have those arms out in the periphery so that we can see them. Also with the clasp and the clap, making sure that we avoid holding them over our face. We want our faces to be seen because we're all beautiful and we have great smiles, right? Plus, we're cheerleaders, so we gotta yell. So I don't want you blocking your voices. So always remembering to keep those arms nice and tight to your side, clasping down below your chin so that you're not blocking your face and your beautiful smiles and your voices. And that is all for the motion section, and I will transition in just a second over to spiriting.